Good afternoon, guys. Hey everyone, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market video for Wednesday, January the 12th. I'm actually doing this on the 13th because I had a lot of things to do after the close and I got busy and I was not able to do it. So I'll update it here. It doesn't matter. The market really hasn't done a lot anyway, but I did want to touch base on how everything's doing and what to think about, what to look out for in the next couple of weeks. So let's jump in. You guys know that I like to look at the ES. It's probably the most representative of the of the feeling of the market, the ES, which is the S&P 500. And again, I've got it up here. As you can see, we've had some crazy wild swings just all over the place, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is a really tricky market to trade because we've got all these whipsaws back and forth and a lot of knee-jerk reactions, which I really can't tell if this is algorithms or I really can't tell because we've getting a lot of turns up and down, and these are big turns, 50, 80, 100 point turns just on a split second. So you got to be on your toes in this kind of market. Today so far we came out, this is the light gray is the overnight session, the futures. We kind of flushed down, hit our skyline here, our voodoo skyline. We're just all over that, chopping. Big run up, big run up, big run up, big run up, and I was thinking my target up here is 4750. That's first target, 4750. That's on the ES. So it'd be about 4760 SPX. But came out of the gate kind of going up, and then a major flush down, a little bounce and major flush down. I don't know where this thing goes. On all of these, I've got levels of support above us, resistance above us. I've got support below us, and we just go right through it. That should have been a line of support right there on the overnight session. Right there, didn't. So, kind of scratching my head at what's going on here. Ooh, we're really free falling now. So let's see if this line holds right here. That's a skyline, voodoo skyline. But anyway, so that's the one day. That's today, overnight, and yesterday's action. Same thing in yesterday. If you notice the pattern here, you see this up and giant flush, up and giant flush, and we ended up just kind of chopping the rest of the day. Maybe that's what we do today. That's what it kind of feels like, but we'll see. So let's go out here. This is what's pretty amazing, is that if we go to just a 5-day chart, notice down here 4572 all the way up to 4739. What is that? That's about 167 points. That's a big move in a couple of days. So this is the black area is the daily trading. The light gray is overnight session. So Monday here, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then today's Thursday. Session that we're in right now. Here's Wednesday. So that's a massive move. This is a pretty good, free fall down here. That's a massive move in just a couple of days. So again, got to be careful out there. So let's take this. I like to start small time frames and work my way out. So let's go to a 20-day chart, and it's even more dramatic. Check out this low down here. We've got that white line is a snow line. 4520, 4520 up to 4800, 4808. That's a 200, almost 300 point move to 290 points or something like that, 288, 9 points. Massive move. And from this point, I was thinking, I think along with everybody else, we came and we just touched that line. Notice that voodoo, or the market got to 480825. The voodoo line is at 480896. I mean, that's about as good as it gets as far as just reaching up, just tapping that. And then we just caved in and came all the way back down here. And at this point, I thought we would come back down here like we did over here. Maybe even take that out and go lower, but instead, we're ripping higher. So I do think, if I have no idea which way this thing's going to go, but I do, if I had to put money on the table, I would say higher. I would say we're going to come back up here and maybe even take that out. And the reason is that next week we start the earnings season with all the financials, and then the following couple of weeks we get into the big tech names and all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know how those earnings are actually going to be, but going into those earnings, we usually have an optimistic tone, especially since the last many years honestly has been very good. I don't know that this is going to be the same way, just because of all the backdrop of, crazy inflation and supply chain issues and all the issues we've got dealing with right now, COVID and all that kind of stuff. So one last step, let's go out here to a 1-year chart, and this is just a representation of the overall, the overall market. And here's a 1-year chart, and it's a little more clear here. This kind of stuff is pretty easy to trade. Higher highs, higher lows. We're just chopping along in a trend. Pretty orderly, sell off here, and a higher, rip back up higher here into the channel. But then you hit this, and this is the scratch your head stuff, because we crash and burn and then rip higher and crash and burn and rip higher, back and forth. But every time, we're coming down here, and it did hold, and we're bouncing. So this seems to be a trend within the trend, and it seems to want to go this way and maybe even take that out. Now, after we get out of earnings season, maybe we see some of this. I don't know. Again, giant question mark. I don't have any money on the line out there, so we can talk about it on either direction. But for me, there's more risk, I think, to the downside than a massive rip higher. That's the way that I'm looking at the market. I'll show you here on the NASDAQ here. It's been a little more, as you can see, we were looking at that channel here. It's kind of broken down. This actually looks like it actually wants to go the other way. This snow line, that might hold, and we may go this way, or it may break and go this way, and then that turns that channel down south. But I don't know. It's just tough to say. The NASDAQ is really driven by the FANG stocks, a handful of Amazon, Google, Facebook, Netflix kind of stuff, Apple. And we'll know in a couple of weeks how the earnings are going to do. So until then, we take it, very carefully. I'm sitting on a lot of cash, sitting on my hands. I've only got 2 or 3 positions on right now, and just kind of waiting and watching. And I think that's the best thing to do until this kind of market kind of figures out which way it wants to go. And we don't have to trade every day. We don't have to be in there, every day trying to do something. And I think right now, it's safer not to. There's a time to have the pedal to the metal, and there's a time to not, go to the sidelines and wait. I think now is the time to wait. So, we'll see over the next couple of weeks as earnings start to play out, and we'll see what we get. So for now, be careful out there, and I'll update you guys as we go. So thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me